Hey everybody, Jim Cedar here from the Wine Inquirer. I want to speak to you today for a few minutes about both Chianti Classico and Chianti Classico Riserva wines. The Chianti area of Italy is made up of about 8 different subzones, and the most well-known, of course, is the Classico area, but there are other well-known zones with names like Rufina, Colli Senesi, which includes Siena, the Colli Fiorentini area, which includes the Florence area, and several others as well. But basically, there are 8 subzones to work from. In terms of the quality, the wines, kind of a classic staging in terms of quality, from the DOCG down to the DOC, the IGT, and eventually what's called the Vino da Tavola, which means table wine. In terms of basic differences, if you're wondering between Chianti Classico, the Riserva, the differences lie in the length of aging of the wines, of the the tonnage that's allowed in terms of grapes on there, and the alcohol level. So if you work from Chianti up through Chianti Classico, you go from very little aging in Chianti up to 27 months, including 3 months in bottle for the Riserva, and the alcohol level starts at about 11.5% with the classic Chiantis and works up through 12.5% for the Riserva. So as you go from Chianti through the Classico into the Riserva, you see longer aging, higher alcohol level, and in general, more complex and more interesting wines as you move through the process. In general as well, the amount of Sangiovese that's allowed for the Chianti is 75% at least, whereas with the Classico and Riserva, it's up at 80%. And with the Chianti wines, they still allow a small percent of white grapes allowed, often Malvasia and Trebbiano, whereas once you get to the Riserva and to the Classico, white grapes are not permitted. I have 2 of my favorite Chiantis here, actually 2 that both my wife and I love, great producers. The one here on the left is Felsina, the one here on the right is the Fondoti. Let's go to the Felsina first here on the left-hand side. This is the Baradenga Chianti Classico Riserva 2009. It's a fantastic wine that runs roughly in the mid-20s. It tends to be kind of a deep dark cherry wine with spice, tobacco, herbs, wonderfully integrated tannins. Really a stunning wine, well balanced and really quite dense for a Chianti. It's a wine that you can certainly drink now, but I think it's a wine that will respect aging for at least the next 8 or 10 years. So really a very worthy candidate. This is not the only Chianti in their line. They have the Classico versus this one was the Riserva, and also another called the Rancia, R-A-N-C-I-A, which runs about $50 to $60, but is an absolutely superb wine. And if you can get your hands on it, and I know it is available nationally, it's worthwhile trying a few of these. It's like one of these top Chiantis that everybody should try. On the right here is the Fondoti Chianti Classico. It's a little bit of a lighter style, a little bit more of kind of bright red fruit, but still with a lot of that sort of tobacco, licorice, and herbs. Really well integrated and a stunningly beautiful wine. It's a wine that is easily drinkable now, or I would say over the next 8 or 10 years as well. Perhaps not quite as deep and as complex as the Felsina, but certainly a superb wine. These are both great wines to pair with your favorite pizza, with a red sauce pasta. Just superb, very affordable. Go out and grab some for yourself and enjoy tonight. I'll see you next time.